Hey everybody, thanks for staying in tonight. I know that it's Thursday and you want to go back to your room and get some rest, and we're not open tomorrow. But there are a few things I would like to talk about that will hopefully have a positive impact on the math lab here in the near future. But first, let me ask you this. Have you ever gone into a restaurant, sat down, and for about 15 minutes no one's come to take your food order, your drink order, or even greeted you? Maybe you feel that you're an unimportant customer or are a burden to some of the staff members. Well, lately we've had some students come into the math lab and have not received a proper greeting. Maybe they feel unimportant or that they're a burden to you guys. That's just one of the few problems that I've noticed over the past few weeks. Secondly, there's a major lack of interaction among all of you and then you and the students. Third, and arguably the most important, is that some of you are very distracted whenever you're working with the student. These three problems are negatively affecting the math lab, and hopefully you'll use the suggestions that I offer up to turn the math lab around and get it on the right track. The first problem is greeting the students. We would like the students to come in, sign the sign-in sheet, and sit down with one of the tutors. Last week, a student came in that I know personally. He's a great guy, but he's very shy and won't ask many questions. He stood around for about 15 seconds after walking in, found his way over to sign-in sheet, and sat down at a random table. He wasn't greeted by any of you. With 4 tutors in the lab at any given time, that's very unacceptable. Once he sat down, he took out his laptop and his notes. By then, it was just too late for you guys to ask him to get up and move. You had to move to him. What that does is that's very inconvenient for you because you may have had your setup already at a different table. What if you were working with another student at the time? He has to pack up all of his stuff again and move over to you. If you greet him properly, point him in the right direction for the sign-in sheet, and ask him what class he's in, you can point him to the right table with a tutor that maybe specializes in that class. If a tutor is working with another student already, but is a specialist in that subject, don't be hesitant to send the student to them. If a student is there working on the same class, then even better. They can work together and hopefully they can talk to each other and fix their problems. Without greeting the students, there's a negative effect on the lab flow. Students may feel that they aren't important to you guys, and they may be less likely to come in. If they are less likely to come in, they may tell some of their friends that the math lab isn't that great or there's no point for them going in, they won't receive any help. Just last week, Dr. Leatherman came in and told me that some of his students from his business calculus course went and told him that they came to visit us and that we weren't very helpful at all, that we kind of just blew them off and didn't give them any help that they needed. If we can fix this, more students will be likely to come in and they will tell their friends that the math lab was very useful for any type of help that they needed. With more students coming in, more of you guys will be needed on a regular basis, increasing the hours you work and the payment that you receive from your job. Secondly, there is a major lack of interaction among all of you. There is a lack of interaction between you and the students. I'll address that in a second. If one of you comes in and you're having a bad day or you need to relieve a little bit of stress by asking someone how their day was, but you're not comfortable with everybody, the 2 hours that you're working might go by very slowly. I know that some of you have jobs outside of classes and you're not used to being around all of the different people that are working at the same time. But if you just talk to someone on a regular basis, ask them how their day was, your 2 hours will go by quicker. Secondly, you may find someone that has the same hobbies or interests as you. If you find this person, you may have a new group to go do some of your favorite activities outside of class. Not having any conversations is very unhealthy in the work environment, and that may be why some of the students are confused. If you're not interacting with other tutors, how are they supposed to know what is going on? Maybe they expect one of you to greet them, but you expect another tutor to greet them. Just last year, I was a tutor in your spot. I never talked to anybody. I felt that, some of you guys might be better than me or that, I should just keep quiet because some of you might be having a bad day. If you're having a bad day, speak up to me. If I was having a bad day, I wanted to speak up to you guys. If you get to know each other better, like I said, you can carry on conversations about your school day, have outside activities, but it just increases the morale of the lab. If you're having a great day and you come in there all smiling and asking everybody how their day's going, everybody's going to feel great about themselves. Now, if you don't, your shift will pass slowly, and that's just something that you're going to have to work with for 2 hours. Now, get to know some of the students that come in. If you greet them properly and you're asking them questions about their day and how classes are going, they're going to feel more comfortable. They'll be more likely to come in, feel comfortable whenever they see you around the hallways. And, if they're more comfortable, they will tell their friends and more students will come in. Now, the third problem, like I said, it's probably the most important, is that some of you are very distracted whenever you're working with a student. Students may be working on problems or asking you some questions, which is very unacceptable if you're distracted when they're talking to you. Some of you may be on your phones sending text messages to your friends, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Some of you are even on your laptop surfing the internet. And the most inappropriate, in my opinion, is I have seen some of you with your earphones in. Now, if a student comes and tells you, hey, I'm working on this problem for my stats class, can you help me see where I'm going wrong? I can't seem to figure it out. And then they start working on a problem. You get on your phone and are checking Twitter or your Facebook, and you don't see where they go wrong. They ask you for help. You tell them that that's the wrong answer. What are they going to think whenever you can't tell them where exactly they went wrong? If you can't tell them that, how are they supposed to know what to fix? And how can they succeed on their tests or quizzes? Now, if you are paying attention to them and you tell them, oh, this is the step you messed up on, go back, try and do this instead, and see if you get to the same place at the very end. If you tell them that, they'll be more likely to succeed on their quizzes, their homework assignments, and their tests. I know that homework assignments might only be 10% in some classes, but that 10% is very important. Maybe the difference between an A and an A minus. Any help that they need, you should be able to help them with. Now, to recap, there were 3 major problems that I noticed within the lab in the past few weeks, and hopefully you can fix them here in the coming weeks. As a reminder, the first one was greeting students correctly. Give them a proper greeting when they come in, make them feel warm. The second one was the lack of interaction. Talk to the other tutors that you're working with, talk to the students, and make them feel comfortable. And third, don't be distracted. Your text messages, sending other messages to your friends, posting pictures on Facebook or on Instagram, those can come after your 2-hour shift. It's not that big of a deal. Everybody has to go through it. Do not be on your phones or your laptops or listening to music when you're with these students. Lately, the number of students that have visited the lab have decreased, and that is not looking good for us. If we can turn these problems around, the number of students that will come in will increase, and it will be helpful for everybody. If you have any questions or have any comments on how you think we could fix these problems, don't be afraid to reach out to me. I'm here to help you all. Thanks for staying. Have a good night.